Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 218 of Is This Thing Working? Here we are coming at you live tonight. Man, after the Bret Beir interview with Kamala Harris today, that was pretty interesting, man. And he come out quick, didn't he, Denise?
Oh, man. Yes, he did. And really, I just have to say, Bret Beir was on fire. But we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, a lot more than just that. But yeah, we are going to talk about that
we're
tonight.
going to talk
I'm
about
excited
that
about
mostly.
That. Yeah.
Mostly, of course. And we're coming at you live tonight. I am Denise, one of your co-hosts, and my hubby across from me is James. And we are part of Is This Thing Working?
Is it working?
Is it working? So we want to stress that these are our opinions and our assertions only. That's it. They're ours. And no one can take them away from us. Make sure you share the show with all your friends and stomp that like button and subscribe to every platform, Apple, Spotify, Rumble, YouTube. We show up everywhere.
Facebook, we're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Yep.
You can just type in, is this thing working? And we come up.
Yep. And hey, and if you don't like our opinions and our assertions, we don't care. Like my show anyway and share it everywhere that you can. If you don't like it, share it with everybody and tell them why you don't like it.
Yeah, please do. And another thing that we want you to do right now is please support our sponsors. They keep the show free for you, and we need you to punch in those promo codes whenever you go to look for Cornbread Hip. So here we go.
Yeah. Hey, podcast listeners, if you're looking to add something natural to your wellness routine, then let me introduce you to Cornbread Hemp, because Cornbread Hemp is USDA or certified organic, full spectrum CBD, and it's made from Kentucky grown hemp. Whether you're dealing with daily stress, trouble sleeping, or just want a little help with recovery, Cornbread Hemp offers a range of products that fit seamlessly into your lifestyle. Their CBD oil is flower only, which means no stems, no leaves, just the richest part of the hemp plant for maximum potency and effect. And here's what I love about it too. It's third-party lab tested with results available online, so you know exactly what you're getting. Nothing but pure organic goodness. Plus, it's not just about the oil. They got gummies, they got capsules, they got even products for your pets. So if you're ready to feel more balanced, relax, and get a better night's sleep, check out Cornbread Hemp today. Head over to cornbreadhemp.com and use our promo code ITTW, and you'll save 30% off your initial purchase. So check it out on your first order, man. Take control of your wellness naturally. Cornbread Hemp, organic CBD for real wellness, well-being, and relief.
That's awesome. You did that really well, James.
Thank you.
Yes. So y'all are going to go out and buy some cornbread hemp for us. We surely do appreciate you supporting our show like that. First thing that we talk about every single day is Bantam Watch. And he is almost out. And, we're praying for him every day. He is getting close. October 29th. We'll be here before we know it. And, the minute he gets back in that chair.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting first show.
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I think I'll take off work and watch it.
So he gets out on the 29th. Do you think he comes on the air on the 29th?
Yes.
Depending on what time of the day they let him out?
You know what? He might do a 24-hour live stream. I don't know. I just feel like he will be there. I mean, and he'll get out during the day sometime.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So he will be there. But this is what we got called to action. Closing the deal. We have an article here from JoJo, and she is telling everyone what the posse is up to. So here we go. War Room Posse's determination to secure victory. And of course, it's a grassroots, MAGA, Make America Great Again. And we've added Make America Healthy Again. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, me too.
I keep putting that everywhere. But as we enter the final stretch towards Election Day, the War Room Posse is proving to be more engaged and motivated than ever. Every day, this determined group is putting their shoulders to the wheel, working hard to ensure that no effort is overlooked in the fight to save our nation. And then in quotes in the article, of course, it says, we must assume we are behind and have to dig out every last vote. And I agree. This was from Steve Bannon. It's his quote. We're going to have to dig every single vote.
Yep. From door knocking in battleground states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, to phone banking, texting, and writing get out the vote postcards from home. The posse showing remarkable dedication. It says the enthusiasm and commitment we're witnessing is inspiring. The posse knows that now is the moment to close the deal, as Grace emphasized in her War Room Get Out the Vote segment. They understand what is at stake, and they're stepping up, as we all are.
We all are. And I have to say this. We have been too. Of course, we've been called to action every single day, doing everything that we can to get out the vote, talking to people, being out in the community.
Yep.
Reminding
people
yes.
when was the last day to register to vote, reminding people when early voting begins here in Texas.
Yes, and all of that. And well, I got a phone call today, and I have been trying East Texas or Texas. It's really hard to get in to be a poll watcher or an election worker or all those. But I got a phone call today, and I'm right after the show, I'm going to get on the phone with her, and I'm going to become an election worker here in East Texas. And I am so excited about being part of, the get out the vote and to make sure our elections are secure. Yep. I'm real excited about that.
Really cool.
So at the bottom of this article that we're looking at, there is an enormous amount of places that you can go to help. This is the last stretch. We're almost there, folks. Yep. But we need every vote. We need every vote, every ballot returned pronto, fast, now, today.
Yep.
And one of those is earlyvoteaction.com. And that's where Scott Pressler, he's leading he's registered tens of thousands of Republicans. And he can help you. Register in the states that still have registration going on.
Yeah, Scott's a workhorse, man.
Oh, man, goodness. Yes, he is. And
back when they picked the RNC chairman, Scott was kind of my choice. I really wanted Harmeet Dillon, though, at that time.
Yes.
But if it wouldn't have been for her, my other choice would have been Scott, man. I think he would have been perfect to have led the RNC.
I do too, but I think really at first I was kind of had hurt feelings for him for not getting any more, in there. But as time has gone on, his strength is registering voters. I believe that the field work is where he excels at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you think they kept him there and that's because that's where he was
he's
best
working
used.
with the RNC.
Yeah.
Yes, and then having his own PAC gave him more freedom.
Right.
So I kind of see why that happened, But you can also go to Turning Point Action. They have an app, and they really need help in Arizona and Wisconsin. And let me tell you, Turning Point Action, if you want to make some money in the next 2 weeks, they will put you up in a hotel and pay you to go and harvest ballots.
Yeah.
They will pay you. And I think that they'll do the same thing. Yes, they'll do the same thing in Wisconsin to help with ballot chasing. And they'll pay you to do it. So, contact them if you're interested in, going into Arizona to help out. Also, swampthevote.com. They provide vital information on registering, voting options, and the importance of this historic election. The energy in the MAGA movement is stronger than ever, and with these tools, we are more organized and motivated to make a difference. If you have the tools and you know what to do and who to talk to, because it's taken me a while to figure out who to talk to, even here in East Texas. You know, it's like they have this silent group behind everything. You know, you have to know who to talk to.
Right.
You know, and you have to put your
Go
name
up the
out
chain
there.
of command. Is that what it is?
And President Trump's team put out a text today all about, let's see, I'll even read the text to you because it got my attention. And I immediately went and signed up. Let me see if I can find it here real quick without too much dead air.
What are you looking up?
I got a text, which I can't find now. Anyway, I can't find it now, but they sent me a text that said Texas needed my help to be part of the poll watchers. So they sent me a link, and of course it's all through email now, so I probably looked at the wrong place. So they sent me a link to participate in a Zoom call. So, I mean, if they send you a link and you're interested in being a poll watcher or any of those things whatsoever, immediately, click that link and sign up, because I think that might be why I got a phone call.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and you can do that. Like you said, even with Turning Point Action, they have an app that you can use. There's also NVGov NVGOP has an app for Nevada residents. This is pretty neat. Trump Talk. Trump Talk is something that we've talked about before. You can, is it Donald J. Trump / or is it Donald J. Trump.talk.com?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's where you can get list of people to contact.
Yes. It's a phone banking tool. That's what it says. It's a phone banking tool to increase voter turnout while protecting your own phone number.
Okay.
So I'm
gonna actually try that out and check that out so I can give y'all a little opinions on that.
Right.
What that's like. But I hear a lot of people are doing that. And I know I'm getting a lot of text, from all over the place. So, make sure you really check your text, because there's some things they send you that you can help out.
Trump was in Atlanta last night. We live streamed that. We had a great response from our Getter crowd. It was awesome, man.
It was very awesome. Yeah.
Glad that y'all hung in there with us, too, because President Trump took about an hour and a half to get in there, man.
I know. We streamed like a 3-hour stream.
Yeah, but then he was through early, too, and I really figured he was getting wound up at one point. I really figured he was fixing to break loose. And remember, I even said that. I said, man, he's fixing to talk till about 10:30.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was almost, it was 9:30, I guess.
It was almost 9:30.
Yes.
That's what I said.
And that's how people like to go to bed.
He stopped. He stopped. It was still in prime time, man.
I know it was.
Yeah.
It was, but he had some good speakers there. And these I know we listened to President Trump also, but he was in Georgia, and of course MTG. She's there as well speaking. And there was a lot of other speakers, but really listening to the people that are speaking is very important.
Did you have the MTG speech that
I have
her little address or a clip from it?
I have a clip from it right here, and it's 22 seconds, and it's really important. And I think we might have already said it already, but we totally agree with her. So just listen to what she has to say right here. This is
This time I agree with her.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Time.
we agree with her half the time, and half the time we're like mad at her. But that's like we're always saying, Congress is a sham.
Yep.
Yeah, I do believe that. Here she is.
They put Peter Navarro in prison for 4 months. And you want to know what? Steve Bannon gets out of prison in 2 weeks. I bet everybody's watching War Room on that day. He's going to bring it. You know he is.
That's right.
I can't wait for it. They put Peter Navarro in prison for 4 months.
I needed you to hear that again, because that, for 4 months. For 4 months. Yeah. I'm still, and now Steve Bannon, for 4 months.
Well, and they made a spectacle of him in China when they arrested him over there, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all ridiculous.
Yeah.
These people just drive me crazy.
Done the perp walk with him over there and made a
Yeah.
big spectacle out of it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But someone very important was talking last night. Let me see. I have her right here. Here you go. Listen to her.
Don't tell me I need to protect women's health care if your only form of women's health care is abortion. Now, the Biden-Harris administration also touts all this job growth, but they failed to mention the 10 million migrants they brought over here and the 9 million jobs they got. So, if they're saying they added 15 million jobs and 9 million went to the migrants, then that sounds like 6 million jobs, y'all. Now, when we compare that to the 20 million jobs that were lost due to their COVID policies, that doesn't sound like a very progressive administration. That doesn't sound like a group of people who deserve a promotion.
Amen.
See, she had 3.5 years to do what she's been campaigning on for the last 2 months. For the last 3.5 years, the Democrats have not given a damn about black men unless they were dead or gay. If you're not cool with transitioning your child, you're a villain. If you embrace your natural masculinity, you're toxic. If you vote or think for yourself, you're a disgrace, according to Obama.
That's right. Yeah, Obama does not like you.
This is what the Harris-Waltz message is to black men. So bump that plan she just released yesterday, because last time I checked, she ain't been checking for y'all since she got in office. And by the way, Obama, there's white, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, all kinds of people not voting for Kamala Harris. So how dare you single out black men and act like it's their fault?
Yeah, that was Michaela Montgomery is who that was.
Thank you. Her
Yep.
name escaped me totally.
Yeah.
Yes, and she just came with fire. Absolute fire. And I think we have another little clip of her here. There she is. Here we go. Let's listen to her a little bit more.
Okay.
Abortion. Now, the Biden-Harris administration also touts all this job growth, but they failed
It's
to
the
mention
same-
the 10 million migrants they brought.
Well, it's the same one, but I think she adds a little bit to it. Anyway, we're not going to do that one, but I really wanted to show you the crowd. And for our podcast audience, the crowd is big.
It's as big as any arena.
That's just amazing to me. Wow. Yeah, look at it again, everybody. Look how many people. How noisy it is. Listen, I mean.
Well, they filled the arena up.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, they filled the arena up.
They filled that arena up. Well, guess what, folks? Guess what time it is? It is time. It is time for the Bret Beir Kamala Harris interview. Are you ready? Are you ready for this nonsense?
Yeah.
Here.
For those of you that didn't get to see it.
Here we go. And we'll stop it periodically.
Let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress before We worked on infrastructure before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act. The first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship.
See right there what he's talking about?
The bill?
Yes, he's talking about the 2021 Citizenship Act.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the one that they tried to pass at the very beginning of their administration.
Right.
And it didn't even make it to the floor.
Exactly.
You know? So I just wanted to stress and let everyone know that that's what's going on right there, and then continue to listen to her answers to all this.
Please finish.
Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish.
You
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and
in
they
the
didn't
middle
bring up
of
that bill.
responding
They
to the
didn't
point
bring
you're
up that
raising,
bill.
and I'd
That's
like
exactly
to finish.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border entry
okay,
points.
Stop right there.
That's the work we did, and we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most.
She talks about the points and the checkpoints and working in between all of that. But if you've watched James O'Keefe's movie that he just put out, was it called Line in the Sand?
Yeah, and that was pretty wild.
And you see how he was able to work throughout the community of the people traveling up through there with the cartel. Remember now how he was even on the other side of the border looking back and forth at them, how they got on the trains with them, how they had to hide to keep from being seen by the Border Patrol. I mean, he went the whole route with them, man.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So
no, you didn't do what the only people you worked with down there, Miss Harris, was the cartel. From my vantage point, from what I've seen and research so far, I'm not the only one.
No.
You know.
No, she's gaslighting as usual.
As usual. Yeah, keep going.
Conservative members of the United States Congress to actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
Six Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you,
but actually is focused on fixing it.
6 Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it.
And there's the 6 Democrats.
Yep, that's the difference, yeah.
Yes. Border Act of 2024, nay votes. Sanders, Butler, Padilla, Sinema, Markey, and Booker. All 6 of those voted nay. So it wasn't just Republicans, like she continues to say over and over.
It wasn't.
You know, this bipartisan bill. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't bipartisan.
And that's the bill when he said it would let 1.8 million in a year. That was the 5,000 per day.
Yes.
Yeah. That they were going to allow in. And even that number was wrong because it didn't allow for other certain numbers of people Remember?
Yes. I think the number was way up.
Yeah.
Way up. Let's listen to some more of this stuff.
The 6 Democrats. But more importantly, back to the original premise, Jocelyn Nungary, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe
Bret,
those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. There's no question about that. There's no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock trying to hold it all together.
Madam Vice President.
To ensure
You know what?
He's like, come on, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
really, we all need to say
Exactly.
that. We need to say, come on. All you want is bigger government. You want more people to be out there to bring all these people. That's what you're saying. You want to hire more of these people to bring more people in and do it quicker than you do it now.
At the same time, blaming her own self because, well, what she's trying to do really is throw Congress under the bus with this. But the point is, she didn't even have the decency to go, yeah, I'm the vice president and I'm second in command behind the president of the United States as far as that goes. And this is our president's border policy, and it's a failure. And because of it being a failure and that those people not being properly vetted or released back into here or whatever the situation is, because those people did that caused the death of Laken Riley, that caused the death of little Miss Nungare. You know what I mean? And she didn't even have the decency or anything to set back.
She certainly didn't apologize.
That's right. She didn't have the decency to even do that, to apologize and go, hey, man.
Or admit or own it that, hey, our open border policy, and it is their open border policy.
It is their open border policy.
Remember, folks, Congress does not have to sign a bill. All the president has to do is sign a bill himself. That's what he did. He made he got rid of every one of President Trump's orders and reversed them. If he could do that, then he could do whatever he needs to do
to shut the border.
To shut the border.
Yep.
And they just don't want to shut the border.
Why?
They want, because they're globalists and they want everybody to be over here.
Because they're working with the cartel, trafficking human people. That's what they're doing.
Well, yeah, they're doing that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so sad that they can't see.
They do. I believe they do see. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know that they do, but the people
that support
them.
Yeah.
That they can't see what they're doing.
Well,
or either that or they're just on board with it.
Yeah. And the people that you're talking about is people of the country that are out here spread amongst the country that are supposedly 49% voting for Kamala in all these polls. You're not talking about the billionaire elite class, because them people know what they're doing.
I do know that.
And I believe a lot of the people here, that I just mentioned, that's spread across the country, this 49% that they say, a lot of those people are probably like a lot of the Republicans that we're always talking to about getting out and voting. In a lot of ways, they've checked out too, maybe.
Well, and that's
you know what I mean? Yeah.
But they continue to talk about bringing illegals over here because the Americans don't want to do the jobs that are here. But I'm just gonna bring this up over time as we were raised, and little jobs that we did, absolutely, like mow people's yard. I mean, I know people that actually made good money mowing people's yard, had a good business, and illegals come in and took over and underbid you
and flooded the market.
With it.
Stagnated the wages.
And that was the first time I noticed it. And that was back in the early 2000s.
Well, yeah. It's been going on longer than that.
So
but
it's happening now with good
at
jobs.
A great amount, man.
That
at a huge amount.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is an overabundance. So there is no jobs or giving them.
Yeah.
To the illegals and saying, but they're needed. Well, no, we're being pushed out of the workforce. That is what's happening. Americans are being pushed out.
Well, let's keep going. She bumps into gender transitioning. He asked her about this. This is pretty crazy too. Let's see if we can get into it. How close it is to there.
It's almost there.
That no future harm would occur, and this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Bret.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungare's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry for her loss. Sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in all fairness, I told you, I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. Saying what...
I'll be honest about something. I'll tell you what. They did not like President Trump coming in and fixing the border. They hated it.
Yes, they did.
Because they didn't want it fixed.
No, they did not.
It was an absolutely, political talking point for many, many years. President Trump did what he could to slow down the flow. And he got other countries that were letting loose all of their people to come over here to try to get over our borders. They continued that over and over again and broke the laws. Well, President Trump made laws.
Yeah.
Made Mexico do their job.
Right.
Made all these other countries do their job.
It's exactly right.
So this right here is a sticking point with me, guys. It drives me crazy how they gaslight you into thinking that the board, they had the office for 16 years.
Just like with that, and if you notice, she tried to take the border and say, well, it's been a problem for decades, or it's been a problem for a decade. That way she doesn't have to take her own responsibility for it then.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. She's not going to take responsibility for any of it.
Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this, Madam Vice President. You call Donald Trump.
The significance of that.
call Donald Trump he's misguided. You say now
he's unstable. He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best,
answer the question.
including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out. Even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open.
Did she just admit to the coup?
For him to choose another running mate. So that is a fact. That is a fact.
Madam Vice President, two more things. You were asked on 60 Minutes about the biggest threat that the world faces, that the U.S. faces. This is what you said.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI director had said that. But you said Iran. If that's the case, what do you say to critics who look at the actions of your administration and say you're not acting like Iran is the #1 threat?
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours on each occasion that Iran posed a threat to Israel, I was there. Most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military and doing what America must always do to defend and to support Israel in its requirement to defend itself, and to give American support to be able to allow Israel to have the resources to defend itself against attack, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region.
Right.
And that is, and my commitment to that is unyielding and unwavering.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran.
Right.
Billions.
Let's go back to Donald Trump, who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put Iran in check.
The estimates in billions.
It was during Donald Trump's administration that Iran regime, that we had an American military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention how Donald Trump has treated and talked about America's military and military service people, calling them suckers and losers,
Hamas,
has diminished the significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a
And there
decision
are
that
critics
they feel.
who look at what the administration did and say and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things.
There's more to say. I have much more to say,
There are a lot of things that people want to learn about you and your policies, and that's why we
I
invited
invite
you
everyone
here.
to go to kamalaharris.com, and you will see that I have 80 pages of policies that are quite comprehensive and should be accessible to anyone who would like to read them. And it includes what I intend to do about affordable housing, what I intend to do about small businesses, what I do
And that's why
intend
we
to do to
invited you
strengthen our
here,
economy,
to see where you were in 2019 and where you are now.
America's military and ensure we have the most lethal and best fighting force in the world.
Madam Vice President,
And
they're giving me a hard rap
well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In the middle of all of that word salad and rambling, what did you get out of it?
Oh my gosh, I got that she sucked.
Well,
Nothing was solved. Nothing was answered.
No.
It was all
Deflection.
Donald Trump is bad,
Showed her
bad.
TDS.
And we were talking about this earlier, but she was told to do that. I mean, she only does what she's told.
Yeah.
She can't go outside those boundaries. She's memorized
These
same answers and the same BS to continue, the lies.
Yeah.
But she is being honest about immigration. They want it like this.
Yes.
This is how they want it.
Yeah.
This is their answer.
Yeah.
Well,
Clinton admitted that even in the middle the other day of admitting that Laken Riley probably wouldn't be dead if it wasn't for the lack of vetting. He did admit the great replacement theory too, because he talked about the fact that people aren't having a lot of babies over here right now. Now we need more people over here. No, we don't.
No, we need to have babies.
Yeah.
You continue to have babies and quit putting abortion on the ballot.
Exactly.
Leave
it to the states where
it to
it's
the
supposed
states,
to be.
and let's save some babies.
Yep.
That's what we need to do.
I agree there.
So yeah.
One of the things that she talked about in there too was being a voice of a generation, and I laughed when she said that too, how disconnected she is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She's a Gen Xer just like me and you are. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or might be a boomer, might be one of the last of the boomers, or a very early Gen Xer.
I'm just going to be honest with you.
Is she?
She's like 58 or 59.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then she's our age. 60. Yeah. She's fixing to hit 60. So.
Yeah. So she's our age. So she, a generation, you're not that much younger than us. Or you're not younger than us. So,
no.
I can say what I want to about you. Ha ha.
Well, it's not that. It's just I hope that I don't know a lot of people out there that are our generation that think the way that she supposedly thinks. Look,
but they always call her the California progressive.
She's a communist
I don't even
and
know
a Marxist
what that
is what she
but,
is. Yeah.
To me, a California progressive is just doing what everyone doesn't want them to do. I mean, I totally think that's what these Democrat policies are.
Well, they like she said, she's all about new ideas and new ways. Well, are you saying then that the last 4 years you failed miserably because you did? What are you saying when you say that?
Maybe this is her new. These are the new ways.
They ask
it's
her
the new
on
way it's going to be.
They ask her on The View. The thing about being a new way forward, if you think about this, I found a really cool article from U.S. News that was dated May the 2nd of 2012, and it talks about Obama's campaign at that time. What was his campaign? Forward.
That's exactly
Remember, it was
right.
hope the first time. The second time, it was forward. And in that article, it mentions how it's adapted from the European Marxists. If you see that there, because my computer.
It says, the article says, my friend and former colleague Victor Morton of the Washington Times has a provocative take on the Obama campaign's use of the slogan forward. Unfortunately for Obama, Victor writes that the term brings with it a lot of leftist baggage.
Yeah. Yeah, keep going because it. Hold on, I'll show you. Yeah.
It says the slogan forward reflected the conviction of European Marxists and radicals that their movements reflected the march of history, which would move forward past capitalism and into socialism and communism.
Boom. There you go.
That is what their term forward means. You always have to really listen to what the Democrats are telling you, because they're telling you what they're going to do.
Yeah.
You know, and her path forward is
here. And here's where the big basis of a lot of that comes from. Listen, it says forward is simply a synopsis of the progressive understanding of the state. The state has always been seen by the left as an engine of history. You said that. Obviously, the government is a major driver of change. However, change is very different than progress. Sometimes government-driven change is good, sometimes not. The more important point, however, is that government is only one of many sources of change. Technology is at least as important. The car was certainly far more profound impact on society, says Warren Harding. The birth control pill, antibiotics, the telephone, frozen pizza, etc. These are all far more significant than 99% of what passes for politics. Culture, religion, and demography are also far more important and relevant than the state. The problem is that the progressives tend to see all of these things as products of the state in some way. And if we are to go forward, it must be in the saddle of the state. This is what they do. This is what they want.
This is communism.
The government, that's exactly right.
The government wants to run everything. The corporations, the Wall Street, which they run it all anyway.
This is what Kamala wants. This is why everybody screams and hollers at Emerald black pills everybody. Emerald Robinson don't black pill everybody. She sees it from this perspective right here, is that this is exactly what's going on in our country right now, and it has been. This is the pure definition of communism.
Yes. In the progressives, it says right here, a quote. It says they'd say the world has changed and government needs to change with it. So, in other words, they want to be the one to change it.
What do we want? We want limited government, freedom, liberty, life, and the pursuit of happiness.
That's exactly
that's
what
all.
we want.
That's all I ask, man. Stay out of my hair.
Yes, leave me alone. But
yeah.
we had a couple instances where, at the end of it, let's see, we got an MSNBC little clip that we want you to watch. MSNBC is already accusing Fox of racism and sexism in their Harris interview. Listen to this, folks. Maybe. Uh-oh. Oh, well. You know what? That's my bad.
Do you think that he was a little bit dismissive?
Uh-oh.
I think it's of that fact. I think it's very important when you have your own former vice president not endorse you. Do you think that he approached her differently than other people he interviews? I saw a little bit of the panel after the interview, and one woman said that she came in hot and also said that she became angrier. I thought he came in hot. And what I am very tired of is this trope of the angry black woman. She was not angry. She was in command of the facts. She was passionate. Passion does not equal anger. I'm often called, Donald Trump actually called me dumb at a rally recently. You have these tropes that are used against women and women of color in particular. And I did not see a dumb woman. I did not see an angry woman. I saw a woman who understands what is at stake. And I was a little bit disappointed.
I don't think President Trump calling you dumb had anything to do with your race, lady.
No, it didn't. And I was fixing to say, I would love to see Kamala have the nerve to sit down and interview with Candace Owens.
Oh, no. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, anyone else. I mean, Greg Gutfeld. You know, I believe that Greg Gutfeld would have been at least a little bit more friendlier than Bret Beir was.
You think Bret come off too strong, too quick?
You know, I think he did. I think, but he had pressure. He had pressure to call her out on things that
nobody else has been called her out on.
So I really respect that he did that.
Exactly.
He did let her filibuster too long several times.
And if you really watched it right at the start, I think she was already on his ass just a little bit right there at the beginning. So I think she kind of pissed him off maybe. I bet you there's more to that too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because once he come on her about the border, I mean, he stayed on her ass pretty hard. But she wasn't accepting responsibility for nothing.
And
everything was not her fault. And anytime numbers proved her wrong, she disproved those, and then would turn around and immediately her TDS would come out, and there she went.
Because that's what her talking points were supposed to be.
She's a train wreck, man.
President
She's
Trump
miserable.
Bad, because that's all they know on those other legacy medias is President Trump bad.
Trump bad.
But what
Orange man bad.
What I also found was, kind of hilarious is, how he kept saying on there, they keep telling me to rap. They keep telling me to rap. So her staff knew that she wasn't doing well.
They were freaking out.
They were
all going, "Oh shit, we're fixing to get fired tomorrow."
Here's a little clip.
We're all getting fired tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might make us not even let us fly home. They might make us ride a bus.
They just might.
Yeah.
Here's a little clip from Kyle Becker posted it, and he said, just in, Bret Beir reveals how Kamala Harris staffers cut short the interview to do damage control. Here, listen to this little tiny clip. It's 28 seconds.
Dana, you've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop. So, Martha, final, I had to dismount there at the end. There's so many things, and she maybe should do more of these. Madam Vice President, and they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dana, you've been on the other side.
Yeah, that's funny because he told her like 3 different times, and she kept on, man. Finally, he was like, I gotta go, man.
Yeah, because the more she, and that's why I think he kept letting her talk, because the more she talked, the more she sank.
Yeah,
it's just really not good, and I don't believe it's going to bring anybody over to her side.
I think she lost votes from it.
I think, Fox News drives me crazy because they're always like, we got so many independents and, moderates that watch our show, which is true.
Maybe this was a way to reach out to
and that's why she
lot
came
of the independents.
And that's why she came on. But I believe, what they say on Fox and Friends this morning, that there was...
Look, Bret just
7% of people have not decided yet. I don't know how they figure all that
I believe
out.
everybody by this time knows who they're going to vote for.
That's it, there.
Everybody already knows.
I believe everybody knows.
We just all ain't come out of the woodworks yet and revealed who, what the numbers are.
No,
none of us have, because a lot of us haven't went and voted yet. There's a lot of people still out there, and a lot of people will wait till November 5th. So I get that, but the thing is, I just can't wrap my head around them putting her out here and thinking that she's fooling anybody, man. You know what I mean? From the start, man,
they're
from
not
Jump
fooling
Street,
anybody
man.
that she's just chosen.
The best way, their best bet would have been to have just ran Joe Biden, man. Everybody knew what they were getting with Joe Biden. You know what I mean?
And
I know what you're going to get with Kamala, but a lot of people don't.
Today said that came out and actually said that, and they said that, at least he had some moderates and some working class behind him because, he's a working class Scranton Joe, and, people believe that. But the thing is, I think his criminal stuff more than his dementia stuff
had a lot to do.
To do with what they did, because I think he was fixing to be impeached.
Well, sure.
They were fixing to try to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they did, because he had too much baggage.
Right.
He might not even be dementified. It might have all just
word,
been a game. Yeah.
That's a term?
Yes, that's not a term, I don't believe.
Yeah.
But he might not even be. These people play games.
Well, sure they do.
And they put on a show every single time.
Yep.
And that was a show on Bret Beir today. Her getting angry.
Do you think
and
so?
Yes, I think every bit of it was a show. Even.
Well, me too. And I was going to say a little bit, I think he asked her some good, pertinent questions that now maybe will spur the real discussions. But the one thing he didn't ask her about was the J6 pipe bomb hoax, man.
Yeah,
at the DNC.
I messaged him and asked him to ask that.
He did not do that, and he did not bring up Afghanistan withdrawal.
No, he did not. And I found it odd, considering every other legacy media station will bring that up to Trump or any supporters or any of the Congress or any of that. They'll bring all of that up all the time, but he won't bring up anything.
Like I say, apparently where she was during that time is the best kept secret out there, because nobody will ask.
And nope.
I'll ask. If she would come to my show, I'd ask her.
Yes, I would.
I guarantee you that'd be my first question. I'd be chomping at the bits. I'd have a big board out there, like
right.
Yeah, like Billboard Chris. I'd be like,
yeah,
going, where the hell were you?
And how? And then when she was talking about President Trump going to take the military, you know how she got real defensive about all that.
Yeah,
and he played that clip of President Trump being asked a question about, what she said. And he said, hey, they're coming after me.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? They're coming after me and I'm not supposed to fight back. That
exactly
is what they don't want.
Yep.
He is going to fight back.
You bet.
And you know what?
We all were going to fight back.
The FBI will be knocking on your door.
We're all going to be fighting back.
We are all going to be fighting back.
Because I'm telling you, man, it's going to bust crazy between November and January.
Yes.
And I do agree. I think Bongino was right in that, that I heard him say that yesterday, that it's going to get crazy between that time. Because even if Trump wins, they're not going to transfer power.
They're going to do everything they can not to.
And if Trump don't win, then everybody in the entire globe knows that the election was rigged, and it's going to be crazy from then till November. Or from then till January.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? And I'll stand back by my hunch that I continue to say I have. If you look at past history, and we went back to 2012 today and a little bit of history. If you look at 2008, I can remember people blocking polling stations during that election. And if we look back at history and we look and we see all the similarities that supposedly Kamala is running on and campaigning on, and you look at him, you know who's running the country. So my hunch about all these people that have crossed the border, there's a lot of them that are here and they're placed where they're at because they're going to be standing in front of polling stations intimidating Republicans, man. People get ready. I'm telling you.
You vote early. Because
that's exactly.
There have been grumblings that this is going to happen, and I believe that. But,
either way, yeah.
A lot of people already, I heard, I can't even remember where, well, Republicans like to vote on Election Day and Democrats like to do the ballots. But I think it's turning around, folks. I think that Republicans are the ones that are doing the ballots, and the Democrats are actually wanting to go vote in person.
I think
they would be hurting themselves.
Well, and I think a part of that, really, I really do. I really got a hunch that I think a part of that is going to be it's going to be shit at polling places.
Oh, it's going to be horrible.
There's going to be stuff going on, man.
There is.
Just like that, and they're going to do their best to intimidate people and run people off and not let them vote, and there's going to be crazy shit like that. And like I say, I'll repeat myself, if Trump wins, between November and January, they're going to do everything in their damn power to not transfer the power over.
Yep, they're going to
in a
accuse
peaceful
him
manner.
of cheating.
What? Yeah, lawfare him to death. They're going to do whatever they can do. But if Kamala wins, everybody on this globe will know it's rigged. And I think there's going to be a switch get flipped, man. I really do.
Yeah, it's going to get crazy. It is, folks. So what do you think? You let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for showing up for the show today. We love our Getter crowd. We, only stream on Getter at this time. So we thank everybody for showing up. That comes up. Yep. And everything, and shares, and please comment below and let us know how we're doing. And also, if you have any hints, clues, or suggestions on little things that we're still learning about the live stream, which I hope this one turned out okay. It looks like it has. I've been kind of peeking at it. So anyway, all we want to say from here is we'll see you on Friday.
Is this thing working?
Rise up.